Get ready to grow your shoulders, thicken your traps, and build old man strength at any age with Farmer's Walks. The Farmer's Walk or loaded carry is a timeless, low-impact, full-body muscle builder that takes advantage of gradual progressive overload for unlimited gains. I had to borrow my wife's overalls for this video, so thank you to her. It also made for some great OnlyFans content. In this video, I'll show you everything you need to know about Farmer's Walks, including how to do them with perfect form and technique, and how to unlock unlimited exercise variations using a variety of tools, including dumbbells, kettlebells, weight plates, resistance bands, med balls, even some wheelbarrow action. And at the end of the video, I'll show you my 6 favorite loaded carries workouts as starters, finishers, or anytime, anywhere face melters. Kneeling carries are the best place to start to level your pelvis, align your gait, and maximize joint positioning. Treat your knees like feet. Slow, small steps, pull the ribs and shoulders down, engage the glutes, and go with a level change progression from hip to shoulder to overhead in order of difficulty. Even a light pair of 10 to 25 pound dumbbells will really challenge you, and this is great for warm-ups. Don't worry if you just have one dumbbell, because the single arm version is just as, if not more effective, especially from a core and shoulder stability standpoint. It really strengthens your obliques as they fight to stabilize you against those asymmetrical forces that want to tilt and turn your body. You got to fight to keep those hips and shoulders square, and this will strengthen your gait. In terms of form, you want to make sure that your toes are pointing straight ahead, so this has the best carryover to walk, run, and athletic performance. To get the most out of this drill, don't rush through it. Go slow and walk a straight line as if taking a sobriety test to maximize the stability benefits. And don't lock out your knees or hyperextend them. Keep the knees soft to help engage the lower quads. By far, the biggest mistake I see is people cheating and going too heavy by bringing that weight really tight to the body, which completely offsets the posture benefits and takes stress off of the rear shoulder. Keep that weight away from your body. Double arm carries are by far the best strength and muscle builder because of how much weight you can use. But remember, going from hip to shoulder level to overhead also increases the intensity. In fact, a pair of 25s overhead will feel like 50s at your side. If you're looking to turbocharge hip flexor and glute activation, try adding a march to your carries. It gets really hard when you go overhead with this. One of my favorite workouts is going 1 minute on each arm for 10 straight minutes. It's such a challenge. You can also start at the overhead position where it's harder. As you fatigue, just bring it down to shoulder level and then bring it down to suitcase level. The double arm marching carry is actually a little more stable, so you won't be fighting to balance as much, but the systemic load is pretty tough. One of my favorite challenges is go for 5 or 10 straight minutes and never set the weight down, mixing levels as needed, rest pausing as needed, but just never set the weight down to keep all that time under tension through your system. There are 3 main grip options to choose from, which come especially in handy when you're stuck with a lighter weight and you want to challenge yourself. The externally rotated underhand or supinated grip is one of my favorite posture correction exercises that really helps offset a lot of the sitting we do at work, rounded and hunched forward. The overhand option will challenge your shoulder stability the most, so really work on packing those shoulders down and back, and the wider you get those dumbbells, the more challenging that weight will feel, even if it's light. The hammer grip with palms facing puts your joints in a neutral position, being the most user-friendly. However, you can also add in a dynamic challenge with the rotating grip, timing the rotations with your steps. If you're looking to strengthen your grip and grow your biceps and forearms, you've got to try the flexed arm variations. The overhand grip is the most challenging. Next is the supinated with the classic bicep curl grip, and hammer will be your strongest. The rotational action will also give you a precious pump. This variation may make you look like you just pooped your pants, but it's highly effective. It's a great way to keep some extra tension on those upper traps and make a lightweight feel heavy, especially the wider you get those dumbbells. Keep flexing. Bulletproof your knees and grow your glutes with shuffle walk variations. The lower you squat on this, the greater the hip and thigh engagement. Go slow and keep those feet at least hip width apart. Blow up your biceps and chisel your chesticles with the crush grip. Don't just hold them together. Squeeze. That adduction really fires up those pecs. Bulletproof your shoulders and make a lighter load go a longer way with straight arm holds. Holding at the side will hit more of your lateral and rear delts. Holding in front of the body will challenge your front shoulders more, plus the core. The high-low option is great for an extra abs, arms, and shoulder burn. Typically, if I'm just gonna keep the arms in place, I'll go with the heavier dumbbell at hip level and a lighter dumbbell overhead. 50 and a 25 is a great example, or you can add the switching option. Build boulder shoulders with pressing carries. This provides so much extended time under tension. I like sets of 2 to 3 minutes here where I'm timing the press with each step. Lock that core down, and a pair of 25s will absolutely light you up. I love to go behind the neck for elbow and shoulder mobility. We're stretching the long head of the triceps, which attaches into the scapula. When that's tight, you get elbow pain and you'll have trouble getting your arms overhead. Just start light so it feels good on the joints. Crush calories, burn belly fat, and boost the cardiometabolic response by adding Olympic lifting style variations to your carries. Things like cleans and snatches are a great way to fire up those fat burners. One of my favorite anytime, anywhere leg day workouts is 5 to 10 straight minutes of continuous walking lunges. Adding weights to the equation now will make it a full body movement. I love to mix between a loaded set for a minute and an unloaded set for a minute. Hold at hip level with heavier weights for more of a strength building stimulus, and hold overhead with a single arm for more of a stability, balance, and stamina stimulus. Just switch arms every minute for 10 straight minutes. Now let's get into some kettlebell variations. The kettlebell provides an offset load, which really makes it great for fortifying the shoulder joint. It also lends itself really well to dynamic challenges like the rotating grip. The rack carry is much more effective with the kettlebell versus a dumbbell. Notice how the thumb is right on the sternum with the elbow tight to the side. It also lays the foundation for presses. Now, you can do carries with that bell out to the side with a lighter load to kind of fortify the shoulder joint, but if you're going heavy as possible, keep it tight to the body. The crush grip is a nice way to make a lighter kettlebell feel super heavy beyond pumping up the arms and the chest. Push it further away from the body to challenge your abs more. And if you're really trying to bulletproof your back, try doing a hinged carry with the kettlebell between the legs. Go very slow, maintain a slight natural arc in the lower back. It's even more challenging one arm at a time because of the asymmetrical loads, and I can even add some rotational actions there to get into the shoulder joint. Just go slow and start really light with a 12 to 16 kilogram kettlebell. The beauty of the carry is that it can also be combined with many other movements. Here we're adding a windmill to test our mobility and stability to the max between carries, and we can keep that distance about 10 to 25 yards. Hold the horns to blow up your biceps and crush your core, also allowing you to add a squat to your carries to get the legs involved and burn more fat. I like to do this for a max hold or time or distance. Hold the horns bottom up to make that same weight feel 25 to 50% more challenging, also allowing you to add squats and halos for shoulder mobility. Such a great combination and flow for time. The kettlebell one-arm bottoms up carry is maybe the most challenging grip, shoulder, and biceps exercise you'll ever do. You have to really squeeze the handle hard. Build wheels of steel and forge the leg strength of a sumo wrestler with sumo carries. The lower you get, the harder it is. If you go lateral, that's going to also engage your lateral hips more. So mix between both directions and stay down as if in a tiny house. Ease shoulder pain and build mushroom cap delts. With the palming carry, you can also bring the press into it. This tends to be a much more shoulder-friendly pressing variation. The behind the neck carry is even more effective with the kettlebell because of the offset load. It really helps pull open the lats, the triceps, and the upper back or thoracic spine. Kettlebells do have a bigger learning curve and require more skill to pull off, but Olympic-style variations like cleans and snatches are much more fluid and effective with the offset load and pendulum-like nature of the bell. Walking swings are essentially a ballistic and dynamic form of carries. You can do these forwards and laterally. Such a great way to challenge your hips and build the entire posterior chain. Also really gets the heart rate up. The band bell overhead carry is probably the best farmer's walk you've never done. Take a thick, heavy band, loop it through a kettlebell or weight plate, and this really turbocharges the stabilization demands. You can see right here in this video, the shaking, even at shoulder level, but especially overhead. Ease elbow pain and build bigger biceps with the band bell flexed arm carries. Again, more stabilization demands. See the oscillation as you fight to maintain that position. I love to do pizza plate carries on Fridays. TGIF! For my weekly pizza. I love it. I work all week for it. And this obviously puts that arm at 90 degrees where there's constant tension on those biceps. Whether you're in the service industry or not, the waiter's carry with the weight plate will actually increase ab and shoulder activation. It's especially challenging with the arm overhead, so go slow and fight for stability. Overhead carries of the weight plate are actually a little more stable and easier to pull off than 2 dumbbells, which are separate in your hands, which require more stabilization. But this is an incredible full body fat burner. And of course, you can also do suitcase carries with the weight plate, though obviously there's a limitation how heavy you can go. Try some odd object strongman training, either with a big heavy medicine ball or an Atlas stone with the bear hug carry. This will really strengthen your thoracic extensors of the upper back. Shouldering is another great option to really give some nice asymmetrical load into the system and fire up the oblique and core activation. Try doing 10 straight minutes switching sides every minute. You can do this variation on your feet, but my ceiling wasn't high enough, so I went to a kneeling option, which actually is even harder to stabilize. Now let's go outside and get some vitamin D with wheelbarrow carries. Now, any wheelbarrow will do. You can load it up. This is actually a sled from Torque Fitness with built-in internal magnetic resistance that's adjustable. So the plates provide resistance, but it's really built in to the unit itself. But with a wheelbarrow, we can add shrugs to train our traps and grip. We can also add things like hinges and deadlifts or even cleans to make it really full body in nature, fire up the calorie and fat burning effect. We can even mix in alternating single arm holds to really challenge our obliques. So the options are really endless. And again, we showed you so many ways you can do this throughout this video. Dumbbells, kettlebells, med balls, plates, bands, and even how you can take your sled or a wheelbarrow in your garage and bring it into the equation for unlimited full body training. As promised, here are my top 6 farmer's walk training templates. There's number 1, continuous work, 5 to 10 straight minutes, rest pausing briefly only as needed. 2 through 4 is an HIIT setup with heavy, medium, and light loads. Heavy for 30 seconds on, 90 seconds off. Medium, 60 seconds on, 60 seconds off. And then light, 2 minutes on, 1 minute off. I also love double drop sets going from a heavier to a lighter load. Triple is my favorite. Heavy, medium, light. You can go 1 minute each. 100s, 50s, and 25s is one of my all-time favorite farmer's walk workout. And here were the results of the Instagram poll we did about the heaviest pair of dumbbells you can carry for 1 minute. I'm a little bit surprised that 30% of you can go 100 pounds, and I think you might be thinking 250s. If you dig farmer's walks, you will absolutely love my 28-day hangs challenge. There's daily variation and weekly progression. We start from ground zero and we'll build up to superhero by the end of it. Plus, it's an indefinite 28-day rotation of stuff you can do to bulletproof your spine, grow your shoulders, build that V-taper. Click the join button or the link in the video description. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and ask me any questions in the comments. Bye-bye.